Destiny was a pretty polarizing game in 2014 with just as many fans as haters. 2015 saw the release of its expansion, The Fallen King, which fixed a number of things, but many still wouldn't consider Destiny to be the runaway success that many expected. A sequel was announced recently, and many fans are wondering what it'll bring to the table. As a lukewarm receiver of Destiny myself, this list seems perfect for fans and fence riders alike. My name is Steve Knauer, and this is GameZone's Top 5 of the Week. This week, top 5 things we'd like to see in Destiny 2. Number 5. Vault Space. How much can be said about this? It's a problem in a lot of games. In a lot of games. Like, a lot.
I am overburdened.
Sometimes it makes sense, and sure, it's a hard thing to manage, but there are a few tweaks that should be made to make this less of a problem in Destiny. There's not a lot of space, the visualization isn't the best, and some things that should stack don't. Let's fix this. Call me a hoarder, but if you don't want me to hoard your stuff, then don't make it look so cool. Note to the developers, please keep making things look cool. That was a joke. Number 4. Better social tools. The ability to communicate is pretty integral for an MMO. Yes, you can play in groups with friends that you've made in the game, but many people, such as myself, aren't always on at peak times or even play on a regular basis, so playing with friends may not be the best option. Having a looking for group mechanic in-game would be really helpful, as opposed to hoping you find people or rifling through forums online for a team. However, on the other end of the spectrum, many people would like private matches. Some people just want to plug in and play with their friends. This could easily be achieved with instancing, with that instant being treated like a typical private match, like in a game such as, Halo? Number 3. Equipment progression. This has been tweaked a number of times in the first Destiny, but many would say that the perfect balance hasn't been struck yet. Even those who aren't extremely familiar with Destiny know about the random dice roll loot table. It's been updated in the expansion, but there are plenty of other tweaks that could be made. Reddit user Noathalds explains, PvE is driven by a static and mostly repeatable environment, where as long as you know the mechanics, you can pretty much be guaranteed a completion as a fire team. PvP has a fluid and non-repeatable environment, with extremely varying difficulties that cannot be guaranteed. In other words, custom situations are much harder to reproduce, let alone pull off in the PvP compared to PvE. Taking this into consideration when coming up with challenges would make the hunting for equipment much more enjoyable overall. Number 2. Playable Grimoire. Who's played Witcher 3? Remember Gwent, the card game? It was so massively popular in the Witcher fanbase that people have actually been begging for a real-life counterpart. Grimoire is a collection of cards in Destiny, but it isn't actually a playable game. This seems like a pretty big miss in my opinion. If Gwent was so massively popular for a fanbase of a single-player game, one can only imagine how well the same idea would translate to a game that is exclusively online. The way they're used now is to inject a small bit of lore into the game instead of offering a new type of gameplay, but really it's just an encyclopedia. But at least some explanation of the game's elements finds their way into the fold somewhat, which brings us to our next point. Number 1. Story.
Once I looked up at the stars.
There are two types of
I was a
gamers.
guardian.
Those who play for competition, and those who play for story. Many gamers actually land somewhere in the middle.
Darkness.
When Destiny first came out, I waited to see the reviews. When I learned that the super cool looking characters, armor, and spaceships had nearly zero story behind them, my interest dropped severely. It's said that internal issues at Bungie caused the story of the original to be so lackluster. But it was so lackluster that it even became a joke of itself. I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain. Also, by the way, I'll never explain it.
Why have you been watching us?
I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
Strengthening this pillar will definitely regain interest in a lot of gamers for the sequel. Destiny just looks too cool to not have a cool creative story to go along with it.
Many Guardians fell.
Destiny has always been talked about, even by those who aren't fans. This is a pretty good indicator that it's always been close to being a big hit, but there's always something that's just a little lacking. Hopefully this list covers some of those concerns, but if you have some more of your own, we'd love to hear about them in the comments below. For more Destiny news, go to GameZone.com, and if you'd like more videos like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you'd like more from me, check out my channel below. My name is Steve Knauer, and this has been GameZone's Top 5 of the Week.